Our next speaker is Ronaldo, and I'd just like to read out a little bio for Ronaldo. So Ronaldo began his studies at the University of Western Ontario in mechanical engineering, and after enrolling in a dual degree for some time, he fell in love with business and decided to pursue an honors business administration degree with a specialization in global business leadership. He's currently pursuing a career in business analysis and financial analysis, working at a manufacturing company in Calgary. And in his spare time, he leads an organization he founded 2 years ago called Arise and Shine. And that's focused on creating a safe, supportive, uplifting community around mental health and physical fitness in several cities. For Ronaldo, the word empathy means listening fully to another person and thereby stepping into their shoes to understand what the world looks like through their eyes. Ronaldo, such a great blessing to have you participate here in Empathy Week, and we're super thrilled to hear your story. I'm going to pass over the mic to you and start your presentation. And if we run into technical glitches again, just tell me which slide. This seems to be a bit of a thing with online. So the Pecha-Kucha events are supposed to be done live, and because we're doing this digital, I guess it's par for the course, but please just tell me if it's not the right slide.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gayatri. Thank you so much. So yes, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reynaldo Glombowski, and today I'd like to talk to you about empathy and overcoming fear. In my experience, these two ideas are very connected in various ways, and in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. First of all, let me take a step back and just introduce myself to you. So I was born in a remote mountain village in Peru called Pichu, high up in the Andes Mountains. I was adopted as a baby and was brought to Germany when I was 9 months old. We settled in Bavaria, and I lived there until I was 10. Then immigrated to Canada with my parents. We lived in Nova Scotia, close to Peggy's Cove. Played piano and did judo growing up, and I had a love for Lego and creating new things. I went to university to study mechanical engineering, as Gayatri said. However, midway through, I realized my passion for business, and then graduated with an honors business degree from Ivy. I also learned I love languages, and now I speak 4, learning the 5th one. So, next slide, yeah. So I did internships in Germany and India while in university, and I'm now working in business analysis in Calgary for a manufacturing company. However, my biggest wish coming out of university was to serve and make a difference in the world. And that's where I'm going to begin my story with you today. So one of the biggest fears in my life has been the fear of failure. I first experienced this when pursuing my dream of going and doing work in international development. For several months, I was trying to do this. However, ultimately fear held me back. It was in facing that fear and in seeking help that I finally overcame this and started working with Engineers Without Borders in northern Ghana on a project called Agriculture as a Business. It was one of the most impactful experiences of my life. I learned to relate to people with a completely different culture, language, and religion, and I found that despite our vast differences, we shared some commonalities, and that is what brought me closer together to my host family and the friends I made there as well. On a different note altogether, sometimes our fears can be quite common for many people, and sometimes they can seem to be unique only to us. In my case, one of the fears that I felt for many years was a fear of swimming in open water. On top of the fear itself, I was ashamed of not being able to swim, and I didn't think anybody would understand. Basically, I thought people wouldn't be empathetic. To overcome this fear, I discovered that I needed to shift my focus on the positive reasons for why I wanted to learn the skill. I focused on the fact that I eventually want to have a family and I want to be able to teach my children how to swim. That had me step into a beginner swimming class in university, and despite any feelings of embarrassment, and after some years, I also conquered the fear of open water swimming while training for a triathlon. I believe that when it comes to empathy, it's important to be accepting of others and to be open to their perspective. When I mention triathlon, open water swimming, or long bike rides can seem intimidating to some and fun to others. Both perspectives are perfectly okay. At times, the fears that we have can be events that we don't believe we can handle. On a different note, discovering my biological family and visiting Peru felt like that. I found reaching out to others, and seeking help enabled me to overcome this, and I made new friends in the process. After a year of searching, what seemed impossible became a reality. I had a wonderful reunion with my 2 brothers and sisters at the Cusco airport, and it was the start of some of the best days of my life so far. They're called Jesus, Aquilina, Josefina, and Hipólito, and my nephew Tiago is with us there too in the bottom. We traveled to Machu Picchu, and it was our first time seeing that immense and breathtaking monument. We journeyed on to Abancay, where a family reunion was organized in my honor. We chatted, shared food, and had a late night soccer match. Unbelievable things after all that eating. Finally, we traveled to my birthplace, Pichu Pata, and there I actually managed to see the house where I was born for the very first time. It was a very emotional moment for me and the culmination of many years of searching, hoping against hope and anticipation. My siblings showed me so much empathy immediately and treated me as if they had known me all their lives. It was absolutely incredible. I realized that what I had made possible was an unshakable commitment to take on that fear and a trust that I could handle all the possible outcomes. Also, all the people who supported me and displayed empathy helped me to continue with the search, especially at times where it didn't seem like I was making any progress. I'm unbelievably grateful to them. Sometimes we can convince ourselves that others may not accept us as we are, i.e. that we will not receive empathy back. For me, sharing about the challenges I faced in the area of depression and mental health was a topic I did not share with anyone for many years, except for my parents, for fear of rejection. However, after overcoming this challenge and going through a period of extensive personal development, as well as fitness training, and become a triathlete, I realized that I wanted to use my experience in this area as the foundation for something good. I realized I could so easily identify with others having this challenge, and I wanted to make a difference somehow. That's when the idea was born to create a community around mental health, and eventually this led to the founding of a group called Rise and Shine in 2018. This is to support others and to create positive energy through physical activity. Basically, we go for walks. And lately, we've switched over to Zoom calls in the last month. We have a community in Calgary, Edmonton, Lethbridge, and I love what we do. I'm so grateful to have found this way to create a space around empathy, around this area of mental health, where mental health is flourishing, and where we greet anybody with open arms and listen to their story. This is a picture of our last organizer's Zoom call and some of the people who are committed with me to building this community. I'm super grateful again. Finally, I want to conclude by saying that I'm like you. I've overcome some fears, and I'm still working on overcoming some others. I found that whenever I can focus on a purpose, when I can set aside perfectionism, when I can have trust in myself, and when I can focus on the light, not the dark, then I can take on challenges that I did not think I could handle before. I found sharing openly and listening attentively are the keys to creating empathy and an authentic connection with another person. And to close, I'd like to leave you with a quote. Ultimately, we know deeply that the other side of fear is freedom, by Marilyn Ferguson. Thank you very much.
Ronaldo, thank you so much. Wow, what a wonderful story, and a story of homecoming. I was fighting back tears, to be honest, when you talked about your journey back to seek your family and your reunion with your family in Peru. I want to ask a question to you around overcoming fears, which you've talked about. Is for somebody that might be worried about facing rejection, how can empathy play a role in overcoming that?
So you mean specifically with the family, you mean?
In general, if there's a piece of advice you'd give someone who's just worried about fear of rejection.
You know, it's great that you asked me that question. Thank you. I actually was very much afraid for many years to reach out to people and introduce myself and say, we make friends. There was a period of time when I was like that. And what helped me with that was that I always tried to look at it and say, I'm okay as who I am. And then it's up to the other person to say yes to the invitation. I'm not, when they say no to me, it's not a no to me as a person. I'm okay as I am. And they're invited to come and share that space with me in a conversation or friendship for many years. And if they say no, it's nothing against me. I'm okay, and they're still a great person, and that's perfectly all right. So
thank you.
That belief that I'm okay either way helped me. Yeah.
That's such a great lesson. I think it applies to so many areas of life, just not to maybe take things personally that way, right? Thank you so much for sharing. And I do have comments that came in for you, but I'm watching the time, and I want to get to our other two presenters. So I will love to share these comments with you afterwards, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Reynaldo.
Thank you very much.